shared that with clients a million times.
My answer in the initial is like not starting my regret thinking first, right? Like earlier on when I was doing things, it's like exposing your regret is just thinking consequentially about what you want to or not want to happen in time, right?
Yeah.
So like what you did is like essentially what you're saying is like I would regret not being there a week earlier or a month earlier, if that makes sense. So why would I not do the work today and do the non-negotiables that are required of me and be the person I need to be in order to do that? Because otherwise I lose out what I really want in my life.
Yeah, 100%.
Sell the metal. Sell the metal. Sell the metal. Sell the metal. Sell the metal.
What's up, metal sellers? Today we are here with the whole Predictable Sales squad. For the most part, there are still some people that are overseas, but we've got the most of us here right now. We have been inspired to do a 21 questions sales roulette challenge today, where we're essentially gonna spin some names. People are gonna ask some questions. They have to direct the question at someone else, and we're gonna actually have some fun with it at the same time too. I expect some feelings to be hurt. I expect Susie to come out, and I expect maybe a brawl or two. So the way it's going to work is we're going to do some spinnies on Faris's little thing here.
Wheel of spin, baby.
And then
Wheel of
there's some
spin.
questions at the same time too. And because I'm a bit of a cunt, I'm going to interject and I'm going to ask the first question without anyone else's permission.
Wait.
Does what he wants. Does what he wants.
Who's the best closer on the team?
Probably Faris. I got you, Abby.
Right? Who's the best closer on the team?
Hold on. Let me roulette it and see who has answered.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. First roulette.
I think this is something you should all fight over, to be fair. Frank the Tank.
I called it, didn't I?
Yo, also, we got to tell the people our names too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you got Frank the Tank. This is Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank, baby.
Right? So he's the best closer on the team.
Happy Dad, Bulldozer, and Actual Dad. I think the best closer on the team, I think it's me.
How do you define that though? In what way?
Well, I think end of the day, like you guys have all your different styles of closing. And when it comes to closing deals, the core of it is somebody having 100% belief that they could make a change. And I'm the one in there making the change. So I think I'm the best person to actually get in there and close the deal. Plus, plus we do sales and marketing. So it's not like I'm delivering on a service. I'm the service end of the day is just sales.
And out of curiosity, where'd all the actual structure for everything come from? And where did the clients come from?
Dan Kennedy.
Dan Kennedy came.
No, I would.
The funniest part about this is you define sales as keeping a client. We actually have to.
No, I don't define sales as
Didn't
keeping
we
a
just
client.
have that problem with Michelle last night saying, no, you guys need more clients?
Yeah, I don't define sales as keeping a client.
So how do you define the best closer then? Is it based off amount sold?
If we're defining closer based off
cash collected?
If we're defining closer just based off numbers, I would probably say like Bulldozer, and then
Bulldozer
is Chris, and then
Happy Dad,
and then I would say chill. I would probably say Bulldozer, Actual Dad, Frank the Tank, then Happy Dad. Wow. If we're doing it based off
He
numbers.
basically thinks you're a shit, Carl.
No. Chill. If we're doing it on units, if we're just doing it on pure units, right? Not skill, not units.
Within this business, in Carl's defense, Carl's got significantly more units than me just due to time served.
In this business, we're saying who's the best closer, period, right? We're not saying the business. I'm just saying total units sold over lifetime.
Faris, I'm going to send you some type of clients for what you just said.
Bro, don't forget, you only make money when I
Get
keep
ready
them.
for some fucked up expectations.
Kyle, don't forget, you only make money when I keep them.
Hey. Well, what if I work on cash collected up front and just send you guys? Faris will get you to 1 million a month in 21 days.
So
That's the offer now. Like Faris said that he can get you to $1 million. It's going to take about 12 weeks. You'll be hitting $1 million.
$1 million at 12. So based off units, that's my answer. Based off of like skill or based off of current experience, I would probably say, and like in this business, I would say Bulldozer, Happy Dad. So like Chris, Kyle, then Goffett, then me, just based off this business, because I've sold least in this business. But units is different.
No, units you've sold more than Chris.
No, I know, but he's had more reps recently. Like as in, not just in this business, but in the last 4 months, he's had more sales calls than me, right? That would be my.
Five in total.
Well, it was still more than. Yeah, I had like 2. I had like 1 call in the last 90 days, man. So, yeah, let's move on. That's my answer. That would be if it's.
He's uncomfortable. Let's move on.
I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
I'm gonna get fucking stabbed in my sleep.
No, I'm moving on because it's not specific. You didn't specify units or
like the outcome from that answer. But
I can't wait. I cannot wait until we go to Melbourne. I can't wait.
All right.
Faris may mysteriously disappear, and you guys will know what was potentially behind it.
Spin. Well, hold up. Spinning the spinny now. It's like, is it someone gets asked the question next, or?
No, now it's a essentially next question, and then we spin it to see who answers the question.
Okay.
Yeah, sweet, cool. So let me spin the spinny.
Spinnies.
And
Frank the Tank.
again. Jeez.
So just so everyone knows as well, a couple of weeks ago we played Uno No Mercy, which you can get fucked collectively if we all agree, and we also played Monopoly as well. In both those games, I believe Faris cheated.
What do you mean, bro? I didn't cheat. I'm just good. I'm just good at these games.
Conrad's over there fucking smiling.
Fuck off, bro.
Conrad's over there smiling. I believe he's cheating right now too.
I played this game before. They didn't. They're just mad that I stole all the properties. I'm just gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? So.
Can't trust you.
Question 1, all right? Question 1.
stealing property sounds like cheating to me.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the game, right?
I heard the word steal, and I was like,
What do you? So question 1
Steal
for
my
that I'll
templates.
answer is: what do you think the biggest bullshit thing in the industry is?
And do you want to answer it or do you want to pass it? Because I think that's a game we can play too, right?
Yeah. I think I want to spin again and pass this question. Bulldozer.
bulldozer.
So what's the question? Biggest bullshit thing in this industry?
Biggest bullshit thing in the industry right now.
Fuck, I don't know. There's heaps of different things at the moment. Or you don't pay.
That's pretty big. That's pretty big.
Or you don't pay, or the guarantee that isn't really a guarantee because there's
The
400
guarantee with
clauses.
16 conditions.
Yeah, like 480 conditions is the guarantee.
And if you miss one of those conditions, there's no guarantee. So I'm a anti-guarantee guy.
Yeah,
if you,
100%.
If you're not with us and we are on a call together and you ask me for a guarantee, the guarantee is you get started today, you sign on today, I'll get you onboarded within the next 72 hours. That's your guarantee.
Or you don't pay.
Yeah. Which you've already paid.
All right, moving on. Next question. Spinny spin. Kyle, do the honors. Hit the spin.
Spinnies!
Let's go, buddy.
Bulldozer.
Chris, you want to answer this or pass it on?
What's the question?
I was going to say, ask the question.
The question, if you had to fight one major influencer in the industry,
He wants to answer this.
who would it be and why? All right, guys, rules. Nobody says anything else. It's only Chris that answers this.
Why?
No add-ons, no comments. I can't say
I want
nothing.
Carl to answer it.
You want to pass it?
I want Carl to answer this.
I think I've got an interesting answer for this one because I think it's Alex Hormozy, man. I love Alex Hormozy, love what he does. The issue that I see,
Not what I expected.
I know.
Let's hear it out.
I'm
give me
the
the
biggest
rest of it.
proponent for Alex Hormozy, but at the same time, I think the issue that's gone, I feel like he's helped a lot of businesses in a lot of ways. But the issue that has been created is everyone being so focused on offers that they never actually even start their freaking business.
I so agree.
I
with
agree.
you.
That's actually fair.
I actually entirely agree, right? Because how many people do we have start? And like, dude, it's not your offer. You're just not doing enough fucking activity,
Yeah, 100%.
right? Like, you just haven't spoken to enough. Like, you haven't presented the offer enough times.
You can't have the offer if you don't know if the offer is going to solve the problem that the people need. You got to find the problem first.
What's that, Lynn?
What's what?
What do you mean by solving problems? Is that a thing we meant to do? Is that a thing we're meant to do, boys?
It's something I like.
No, but does anyone else have anyone else they want to throw into the ring there for some hatred at the
All
moment?
right. Well, I like that you chose Hormozy.
Are we
I'm
trying
gonna
to play the game or are we changing up the game?
No. Because like one person gets asked the question, but if someone has a discussion point at the same time too, I think that's okay.
I've got an answer that comes left of field too, but for a different reason. I want to fight Grant Cardone, but I want to do it purely to steal his audience.
Oh, so like you fight him with the intent of using it as a tool. So you're looking for
leverage.
rap beef.
Yeah,
You want Kendrick and Drake.
that's exactly where I'm going. I'm a beef with Cardone. That way, get him to mention my name. He mentions my name. I get a piece of his audience. I think it's a great ploy. I actually have no problem with the deal.
I mean, he's the thing though, right? Who'd win the fight?
well, the fact that he's a 60-year-old. Well, I'm 43.
So you're about 62 then.
I feel like it. I feel like it. Any of our more mature clients, feel free to tell Chris to go fuck himself. Yes, Chris.
I don't know, man. I think Cardona's he'd come out swinging, bro.
He's fit.
Yeah,
He trains
he'd
every
come
day.
out swinging,
He's a
bro.
beast.
He's got 10x health.
Yeah. He'd want to have 10x health insurance.
What is it? There'll be fucking 2 hits, bro. 1 from me and 1 on the floor. Call the ambulance.
Three hits. Me hitting you hitting the ground, the ambulance hitting 100.
Thankfully. Sweet. So, anybody else anything to add or keep it moving?
No, I think we're good.
keep moving.
They were great, by the way. They were great.
All right. This question is going to be a more insightful one value. It's come to me again. I'm going to spin it again.
Why? Good idea.
Actually, fuck it. I'll answer it. I'll do that. What's the so the question is, what has been the hardest lesson that you've had to learn growing your part of the company? That's a good question. So my part of the company is client success, and damn, there's been some fucking lessons. I think the biggest, hardest lesson I've had to learn is how much everything just comes down to the fucking onboarding. It's like, you can fucking play the game of maximizing the journey and all these different shit, but then everything just comes back down to getting the onboarding right, which is not just the call, but it's the call, it's the activation, it's getting them the first result. Like that first experience is like literally the make or break. And I notice that every time, every 4 or 5 months, I keep going back to that lesson of like, oh shit, this needs to be better. Oh shit, this needs to be better. And it's just like adding in different beliefs we need to break or things to look out for, adding in different kind of things to think about when on board, considerations really. Just like, do you consider this? Do you consider that? That's been a lesson that's been really, really hard because I'll go work on onboarding and then I'll go do other stuff. And then realize that it's just like, oh, if I can just nail the onboarding, I'll win 90 days with the client and I can get them the rest of the result. That's been a big, hard lesson for myself with my part of the stuff. That's one. I would say the other one as well is like fucking hard lesson is end of the day, it's not your business that you're working on, right? Like it's their business, like the client, especially in a coaching business. And like, you can't want it more than them. You can't want the change more than them. As much as you want to write down reasons why this client should succeed, help them, motivate them, coach them, you can spend so much time sometimes thinking about the business even more than them. And that's become sometimes a point where you feel like shitty because the client leaves and you put so much effort, but it's because like, end of the day, it's not your responsibility, right? Like you're responsible to making sure they understand for guidance and that's it.
Yeah, and give them the tools.
But I think where I felt the responsibility is when I know we have gaps in guiding them, like where I fucked up in the past or whatever with a client. So then that's where I'll feel more responsible, but that's a insecurity thing, right? As opposed to like just looking at the facts of like, this is what they need to do. So
I can understand that.
That's just and I'm sure so many people can relate to that. Like, you get a client, their ads don't do so well. You feel fucking weird about it. And you're like, fuck, I want to make sure they're good. So you get on extra calls, you do extra stuff for them, as opposed to just saying, okay, I fucked up. Let's just solve the problem. And end of the day, it's still their business. They still have to call the leads. They still have to do all that stuff, right?
I think that in your defense, the other and key principle, client success rule number 1 is like guilty until proven innocent. Because no matter how good the onboarding is, no matter how good the commitment is, no matter how good all the thing is, if that makes sense, right? It's like, I don't trust that you've done anything until you fucking prove it to me, right? Like, I think that is probably like, and we use the same thing within our team as well, right? Like, because everyone needs to have that level of accountability in some way, shape, and form. And no matter how good the onboarding is, because you can get a great onboarding, but they forget about that shit 3 weeks later as well, right? Like that's kind of a challenge that we experience because like it's the 17, 18 times they have to hear it as well. Because like just because we hear something once, like we've put the 100 hours of thought into that beautiful onboarding that they might have been sick that day. You know what I mean? So like I think that the just not believing that they're actually doing the work and finding a way to get them to like prove that they are is really helpful.
Challenge them with it. I agree with you, man. And to add more color to the onboarding insight too, I think it's less the actual process and less the like decks and the onboarding sequences. Like actually none of that shit matter. It's really understanding at a core, like what are the psychological breakthrough that this person needs to have at this point in time and not moving forward until they do. In addition to what's the actual, like for me, I've kind of reduced it down to like, they need to have a psychological breakthrough in addition to a financial ROI in 1 month. Or else they'll churn in that way, right? Or like in the...
The other thing that I think in client success that is totally under considered is how much objection handling is
Oh,
in
fuck.
client success itself.
Yeah, man.
Right, like no one gets into client success to go, I'm gonna be great at objection handling. It's probably one of the biggest fucking tools, right? Like the amount of people who need constant belief being broken or need a redirect or whatever else that it is. It's like if you do something with client success and you aren't fully aware that you're still selling to that person after they're actually a client, if that makes sense, right? And you need to help break that belief with them, like in many cases, a couple of times a month for the same belief until they hear it for the 18th time, like, oh, now I get it. And that's fucked up for many people because they didn't walk into expecting that.
Expecting this is going to be like
Right,
that,
like-
especially if you run a coaching business. And I think it happens a lot for agency people who run like a done-for-you service. And
Yeah, I'm
think
calling the leads, buddy.
it's like it's like they do the done for. It's like why do you do done for you, right? It's like, oh, because I just do this service
I can
I can control.
Right,
but
right.
then you forget, like, end of the day, again, it's humans.
Dealing with humans,
It's just
100%.
like you can control it, but then the guy messaged you and say, let's stop the service, and it's like you weren't even considering and being aware of like what is their state, what is their level of buy-in and their commitment level, and what objections they might have, even if it's a done for you service. Because end of the day, if you don't like address that stuff, they will replace you. They will find reasons why not work, because that's just like human brain, right?
Yeah,
they'll always
100%.
look for shit why it doesn't work, right?
Danger, right?
Danger, yeah. Oh
Danger.
shit, I'm not seeing like the feeling that I need, and it's
Yeah.
like this is expenses going out. Yeah, so that's probably
Yeah.
right. So it's like expenses going out. Yeah, fuck that. I need to just cancel my expenses, and then you're confused because you're like, well, isn't this supposed to grow your you get confused, but there is almost like a belief gap or a knowledge gap there, right? So
Totally.
So that
was a great answer, the onboarding thing, because I agree.
that's a
Good
big
stuff.
one, yeah. So that's mine. Let's keep it moving. Oh, this is going to be a next good question here. Are you kidding, bro? It's like rigged for me. I'm going to keep it moving.
Yeah, you gotta press the button, buddy.
Here, somebody else press the button, or else is.
It's gonna go to Frank.
There's a shit roulette
I'm
wheel.
cheating, right?
Bulldozer's the other one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
Me and you.
I'm gonna
don't
put it.
don't
No,
get
so
chosen.
I'm throwing this to actual dad.
Yeah, throw it to action. Okay, cool.
What's the question?
What's the craziest close?
Yo, throw it to me.
Yeah, happy dad.
Yeah, happy dad.
Happy dad.
All right. We'll throw it to
Oh my
happy
God.
dad. What's the craziest close you've seen happen so far?
Probably when we were back in Vegas when I was still just setting that. Bro, this is like literally, so Chris got the name Bulldozer after this close, right?
Oh, it was because of this, right? This is where Bulldozer
This
came
is where
from,
Bulldozer
right?
came from, right? So I'm sitting in the kitchen. I'm just catching up on setting. All of a sudden, I'm hearing a bunch of bullshit going on in the next room. Chris is closing this guy. Guy is having a lot of fears around, getting started, making the decision, right?
He had like 88 fears.
Like 88 fears. I can't even remember exactly all of them, but there was like
All of them.
all of them, right? All the fears, right? All the fears. But yeah, Chris just like bulldozed. Like, how else do you describe what happened there? It was just, he was bulldozed through the fears.
Chris
right?
was like, I am not leaving this call without money.
yeah,
Because we needed.
Like,
So the reason.
Oh yeah, because
You were proving something.
We had another rep there who wasn't closing,
Correct.
and he couldn't close this guy, and he goes, "This
Correct.
guy's unclosed." I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah, it was
That's not true.
statement, right?
we
You're
had to
trying to
shift
make
our
a statement.
we had to shift our team's belief that the lead was closable.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so Chris wasn't going to leave that call without the close.
Yeah.
We had to show the sales team that it
That was
wasn't the leads.
and what's crazy is you closed 3 in a row that day.
I did too.
And it wasn't
closed
the
three,
like
yeah.
I was in client success. It wasn't the best clients. Like I didn't have a great time working with them, but some of them even got a result and actually stayed long term. Either way, I think sometimes as a sales team leader, like that's what I learned that day. Is like as a sales team leader, you just need to hop in and prove to your team like your willingness to get shit done has to be sky high above your issues and shit.
Evidence and increase of possibility.
That it is, yeah. Hey, like,
Right, like
you can change.
Don't you dare give me the bullshit that this is impossible. Who the fuck do you think you are, right? Like wrong team if you think that's the case. Turns out he went home a week later. Right?
Yep.
We set up. We booked him a flight and we sent him back home. Right? But like that's been my philosophy the whole time through. Right? It's like be the example and not the warning. Right? Outwork bad days. And if you get objections, bro, learn to overcome them. That's your fucking job.
Yo, and quick thing right now, if you're watching this, shout out to all the gear, yo. We're all decked out in Predictive Sales gear. We got Predictive Sales
let's
Closer
go.
Club, Widwell closes. One day we'll have this shit available to you guys in merch.
Maybe not these ones.
Oh no, that's team only. That's team. You got to join the team to get those ones.
Yeah. Or hit a certain revenue number.
Oh yeah,
in
maybe we'll
clientele.
do something like
that
that.
might work,
Yeah. All right, cool. So we got some cool. Now we got the.
We got some good ones. Oh, we haven't even got provocative yet, but Frank's still telling us we're pieces of shit.
Oh yeah, actual dad.
Actual dad.
Yeah, I get a part.
You get to say some words.
I get to say words.
Get a couple lines.
This is a good one. What's the dumbest thing someone said to you on a sales call?
That's easy. I'm not sure why I'm here.
Pardon?
I've had a call, or I've had calls where people are like, I'm here because I was told that this would be worth my while, and I'm not sure why I'm here. And I'm like, I'm confused why you would agree to something that you're not sure of.
How the fuck did you get here?
And then you've basically got to go back into the triage process. You've almost got to remind them of absolutely everything. And they're like, oh, I don't really think this is for me. And it's like, no, this is definitely for you, because right now you're nowhere. And by the state of the conversation we're having, you need real guidance. Because right now you're just spinning around in circles. But yeah, that's definitely the most bizarre scenario I've ever
On the
had.
fitness offer?
It's actually happened on a few offers. So I've had it in financial services. I've had it in the fitness industry. It's been phenomenal. Selling franchises for the fitness industry.
Right.
I'm not sure why I'm on the call. You didn't inquire about buying a franchise fitness business? Oh yeah, I did, but I don't know how we've kind of ended up here. You didn't have a call and went through these. Oh yeah, but I
You
don't
mean
know
you
how I ended up
applied
here.
for something and you have no fucking clue?
You
what
got
you're
booked
talking
into a call. Someone asked you to get onto this call. Oh yeah, maybe they did. So yeah, it's
about? So the question's like most ridiculous thing on a call, is that right?
The question is, what's the dumbest thing someone said to you on a call?
Okay,
Or ridiculous?
Can it not be in words?
I don't know where this is going to go. But
Can it not be in words? Can it be something other than words?
Can be someone else for sure, yeah.
There's nothing like someone saying they're walking away to get a credit card. Nothing. There is nothing like someone walking away to say they're going to get a credit card, and you can see on Zoom, and you just see just a hand come up and turn them. Just ends the call.
you know what though? I reckon when you got
Were
hung up
you
on the
there
other
for that? Were you there for that?
I was in my
next
room,
room.
and all I heard is you burst out laughing and go, "Is this guy fucking serious?"
I remember that.
but Kyle on a call the other day. He's on a call, and calls a challenging one, and then they just go dunk and just hung up.
It happens, man.
Yeah, but you're not in sales unless you've been hung up on, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think getting blocked is the hung up on in messaging.
I was going to say, if you're a DM setter and you haven't been blocked, then you're probably not trying hard enough.
Fuck no.
You should be getting blocked every like 200 outbound.
Yeah, that's about right.
You know, like
Well, for everyone that comes in, we celebrate. They're like, oh, I got blocked. Who cares, bro? Good on you. Fucking great work. That means
Nice.
you're actually speaking to people.
Yeah, we did that with Phil the other day. We were like, awesome, good job, bro.
On to the next, buddy.
You got to laugh about it. If anyone blocks you in DMs, have a giggle, get on with it. It is what it is.
right on. This is
All right.
for fuck's sake, man.
No, that's happy, Dad.
Yeah, that's happy dad. That's happy dad. This one is actually a good one. If we had an HR department, what do you think would be the biggest beef they'd have with us?
Oh, it's okay. She's here.
Oh my God.
Hold Susie as you say.
Susie, look away.
Cover Susie's ears.
Cover Susie's ears. There's going to be a lot of cursing going on.
Yeah, what's the biggest beef that HR
Oh
would
my
have with us?
God. Biggest beef. If it's not the cursing, it's just the zero fucks for feelings. Feelings be getting hurt around here. Clients, fucking team. There's going to be a lot of hurt feelings reports.
What about certain things in DM that I've told you to write? And you're like, yeah, I'm not going to write that. There's been a few crackers. I'm like,
I think this should be a
this.
group question to answer, though. What are you? Yeah. Frank?
I think we've all
Turn away, Susie.
Oh, for anyone who doesn't know, this is our HR. This is Susie.
Oh, yeah.
She's our rock. She's our world.
Yeah.
Go on.
I honestly think the biggest beef that they probably have with us is probably our some of our internal sales chats. Like what we post in there. Like our big team chat, we're pretty like vanilla, but the sales chat is like pretty hardcore. I think the amount of times like somebody doesn't close and we're like, this fucking cunt, like we didn't fucking close.
Fuck
Like,
this guy. Who cares?
yeah, fuck this guy. And obviously it's all banter, but like I think there's some shit like that. I think fuck man, probably how compliant we are with our marketing, because that's a hot topic these days. Should our HR department probably give us a beef when we say we're good? Beef.
After he's doing B,
Yeah.
like, what would an A look like then?
And that's exactly why we don't have an HR department.
She's right here.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's the discrimination.
oh, we do have discrimination.
Phil's got a shit haircut.
Yeah, we definitely discriminate.
The bullying
The
definitely.
bullying definitely.
We definitely have bullying.
I think
Yeah.
bullying is
We
real.
told Kyle, don't come to Australia until you've had a fucking haircut.
We told him not, like, bro, get off sales calls if you don't have a haircut.
Yeah.
Close rate will be
Bro,
good.
you look like shit, bro. I swear. Well, like when you don't, not you.
Okay.
I'm saying like to a closer
No.
or anybody who's representing the
It's
company.
okay, Ferris. You've said things today.
Me too.
You said things to me. You said
I'll remember this when I jump into calls this week, man. Get ready to manage it. Get ready to manage some expectations. That's all I can say.
Yeah, we're good.
Farris is going to take your calls.
It's like,
Hey, I just spoke to a client success manager. They said that they've already signed up 4 clients for you. Just call. Like, just we have clients ready for you. It's like what? Anybody else to add on that? HR?
I got nothing else to say.
I think
it'll just be more bullying.
I think, yeah, it's definitely bullying. I think the way Chris greets me on phone calls, text message, and basically any communication form, hey, cunt.
Or is it that or hey, old man?
Yeah, no, old man only comes up
true,
every
though.
now and then. It's hey, cunt is usually how we go.
Or sup cunt?
Or we have a meeting and the subject on the Google Doc will be hello, cunt.
But for Australia, that's pretty normal. Americans are probably like, damn, these guys are so vulgar. Like, you have not met. You have not met Australians. Like,
We are definitely vulgar.
Yeah, that's a word.
oh, okay. Now we got a more kind of thinking question. Do you think it's harder to build the systems for the team or the team itself? I think this one we should all kind of give some insights to. I think,
I think both.
I think they're
Like,
all pretty hard, man.
I think both, right? Like, I think systems are actually fairly easy to fucking build until they break. Same with humans, right? Like, humans are really like
You can break a human.
but like you can, right? Like, I think systems are really easy. Like, they're good until they break, and then humans are the same because they're good until they break.
I lean on the human side. Like building the humans and the team itself is much harder than the systems.
I would agree.
But I guess it depends if you have a knack for which one, right?
Totally.
Like, yeah.
Well, people is like people are the hardest part. Full stop. Full stop. Without a shadow of a doubt. I think that everyone should read a book called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. I think a huge issue why a lot of teams don't work well together is because they're unwilling to have genuine conflict within each other and call each other out on when things aren't good and celebrate when things are good. Everyone wants to celebrate when things are good. No one wants to be held accountable to a bigger, better, etc., etc. And I think that you either have a family or a team that'll play championships together. You got to choose which one you want, though.
I think that just on the family thing too, I think that it's interesting when companies go, oh, we're just like a family. My immediate response is, cool, so you guys fight every day?
Right.
Like, it's like, honestly, I think the families that I've seen that have the closest relationships follow that same type of principle. They're not afraid to call each other out on their shit. They'll keep each other accountable and they demand
In some, yeah.
a higher level. I think the families that, mollycoddle their kids and, tell their kids that they're awesome because they got a C is part of the problem. I think when kids get a C and mum and dad can go, how are you going to do better next time? So, but yeah, I think that building the systems, my take on it, building the systems is actually
And yes, that's what I should do.
I'm the light brown guy. But I think that building the systems are the easier part in the sense that there's no emotion involved. When you're dealing with people, you're dealing with emotions, you're dealing with, different moods, different times of the day people can be
Straight
different,
up, morning versus evening person. Like,
There's also the feelings,
yeah.
right? Like
If you have a high regard for somebody
the
versus
way that
like,
someone feels about something or an ego getting in the way of something at the same time too, can really fuck things up.
Yeah, on that note, I think to tie this actually back to the HR question, I think what HR would actually have a lot of, like, they'd have a lot of beef with us because we probably have like 2 micro conflicts a week. And when I say conflicts, I mean just like a discussion around like what way to do things, or like a disagreement where we have to narrow things down based off numbers, based off our observations.
I like how you said we. You mean you. You.
No, we, right?
Because you challenge everything.
But I think that's the nature of us all, right? Like we all challenge everything.
You're very highly disagreeable cunt.
But I think that's what makes us so good is like we all have opinions and we're all not afraid to share them. And I think in a normal traditional setting where people are so scared of each other's feelings, right? And not to say that like we're not scared, like we're just willing to have the courage to just share it. Yeah. And I think as a consequence of that, which leading to the second thing, we don't have a lot of macro conflicts. We don't have a lot of big fights and issues in the team. Like things are relatively smooth. It's mostly for the most part like little disagreements and we work it out. But because we're willing to have them at such a high frequency, I think most people coming into the team would not be able to sustain it. Like they'd be so like, it's just, but for us, it's just like, that's our personality. Everybody's a fucking, like willing to say what's on their mind.
I think the next macro conflict is you and Kyle after you said that he was the worst at sales.
There's gloves in the garage.
I think that bare knuckle. Bare knuckle it.
Bare knuckle?
Like,
Okay.
Bare man. Next question.
Next question. Let's keep it rolling. So the next question is...
Not for Frank.
No. Bulldozer.
Come on. It's Frank or Bulldozer.
Like personally or within the company?
The question is broad. So you choose
The question is broad.
So you choose what you feel is a greater regret.
It's interesting, right? Because like I focus on this every day and it's hard for me to say that I have a direct regret.
Yeah.
Because I literally focus on working on this every single day, right? Like I think one of the bigger regrets is in earlier stages not focusing enough on what I would regret not happening the next year or whatever.
I was going to ask, like, what would be something you regret you didn't wish you started sooner, for example? Like optimizing for regrets? What is the answer?
That's one thing. I think another version of that would probably be, I don't know, I can only think about not going for a bigger audience sooner, not getting good at financial analysis sooner. And the reason behind that is just because like, I got really good at making money, not keeping it. And this wasn't just in the business, this is in personal life and everything else as well. And I think the reason and rationale behind that is because like it was always, I would make more money than went out always, right? Always. And then the second that things started changing, it was like really fucking tough for me because we started reinvesting back into the business a shitload more. And it's like, that was, it felt suffocating because it just wasn't something I was used to because I'd always have more money coming in than was going out always. And we were in a position where like that wasn't the same anymore. And it felt entirely fucking suffocating. I've never had a budget in my life. Michelle's over there, I don't know, maybe doing yoga, I'm not quite sure. One of the biggest challenges we've always had is like budget. Like, what the fuck for? Right? And I think that's probably not a regret. It probably is a regret, but like it just wasn't a known, right? It wasn't a known. It wasn't a, there was no exposure to the need or any particular point that there would have been a desire to even learn the analysis of financials because like it was always like calories in versus calories out. Eat less calories than you actually burn every day. And then it got to the point where like calories are just being chucked down my fucking throat, if that makes sense. And there are days where I think I've made bad decisions at the same time too. Like paying 7 setters at once is a shit decision when you're only trying to fucking make 1 or 2 of them work, if that makes sense. But it hasn't killed, it's just felt uncomfortable, right? Like I think that the biggest and best and smartest thing that I did within that was actually, I've always focused on building cash reserves first. So like no matter what happens, I've always got cash available and no decision is final if you have cash available. You can come back from anything. So I think it's probably the answer that I have.
Straight up. It's a good answer, man. That's very deep. Kyle, what would you say is something that you regretted not starting sooner or knowing sooner?
Man, it's funny because he was saying about the audience one, and I think back when I ran my previous agency, I think audience was my biggest thing. I thought, cool, you have good content, and you send enough messages, you all of a sudden have calls and clients, right? But if you don't focus on audience, the content gets in front of no one, and the DMs, no one sees your stuff, right? So the DMs just aren't well received. Right, like the person has no idea who the hell you are because they're not part of your audience, right? So
I think the competition to that too, though, right, is like you could do everything cold and reach out to 1,000 people a month entirely cold, and in 7 months you have 7,000 people who do know who you are if you go back and actually build a relationship with them. I think that's the competitive thing you can put against that if you don't look at every single person as this is the last time I'm going to speak to you.
Yeah, so then that would just be building the audience in a different way. It would be through follow-up and building the audience that way versus building an actual audience as i.e. friend list or group list or
Totally. I could there's no one way to do it.
yeah.
But I think that anyone could do it cold, right? Because I prior to this business, I did it cold. So it's possible. I just think that, but I agree. Audience, if there was a lever, that'd be epic. But it's not that's not the last straw, right? Like it's not the last straw at all.
Yeah.
I think for me, it actually comes back down to one thing, which is I regret not building the right group of people around me sooner enough, like from a young age. Because when I was running my first business, which was like a home service business, when I was like 18 to 19, I still had the same group of people, and like I had this divide, right? And
I had
like,
this conversation with both of you guys,
a bunch of times.
even this time too, actually.
It's a never ending, and the great divide, like it never goes away, right? Because as much as you grow,
describe the great divide.
So the divide is the difference between the people who you aspire to actually be around that lift you up versus the people that are essentially you're around because of your old identity of who you were. And as you grow, it creates a divide between them where you feel pulled because you have a built relationship with them to stay with them. In addition to you want to actually feel like you want to go towards people that you want to work with. So, or stay with friends, whatever. And that happens. It's so common, right? High school friends, you're an athlete, like friends from your athlete days. It's hard to understand. And I think the biggest issue with the Great Divide is the belief that you leaving them is abandoning them or you being a piece of shit.
Yeah. Upper
limit barriers, right? Like beliefs. And I think for me, like I was like more deeper with those guys and actually spend more time with them up until I was like 23. Essentially like 1 year into my agency, I started to really like go spend less time. And as now it's like, say hi once a year type of thing. But I think that's one thing that I wish I could have, like at 18 years old, I can like have a magic wand. And at that point, the relationship would have not been as deep as those years that I would have spent in the adult, that I could just take a step back and be like, let's find some new people and people who ran businesses.
Would you agree that, and this is for everyone, not just for you, that the reason why we probably actually enjoyed doing this business is because of the people, like in that context, because of challenging each other and actually having an environment of people who are actually willing to call you out, help you lift up and all of this stuff too. Because like that is it for me.
And like clients too, like clients, team, network. Like I think we spend a lot of time with the clients we love and we work with them deeper, and it does create a world where like your entire life experience is surrounded by this network you built, and like it just changes the landscape. Because
how many conversations have we had with Michelle about this? Over the past year or a year and a half, right? Since the first time you came to Australia, there was like the amount of conversations that we had where it was like,
oh, you're like, I just need to build like
the right people around at all times. And then she is like, because I remember the exposure that she had. She's like, I don't get it. And like there'd be shit people, and she goes, I get it now. She's like, now I feel lonely. I'm like, well, cool, come join us, dickhead.
It's
but you can still have shit people around, just different shit.
And like further into that, right? Like when you go to the new like group of people, it's gonna challenge the fuck out of you, and
in a way you've never
experienced.
You could have guessed it to either.
Yeah, and the only way that you're actually be able to stay in that group of people is if you commence working on yourself consistently, like inner work, and that is personal development, that is therapy, that is all the different things you want to label work. Otherwise, you'll just be triggered all the time, and it will make you feel inadequate, and so much so that you'll sabotage and want to spend less time with them.
I think it was either Jim Rohn or Bob Proctor. I was listening to a Kobe Bryant like a motivation thing this morning, but then like another thing came on after that, like a compilation of different people. So it was either Jim Rohn or Bob Proctor, and it was like, you got to work on yourself more than you work on your business. But I think you need to work on yourself more than you do your position in the team. Otherwise, you lose your position in the team, right? Like that's another thing too as well, right? Like because if you stop working on yourself, it shows up in your work. And then if you're in a team that's real fucking aggressive about high performing at the same time, then you're going to be in a position. You're on the risk of losing that too. Like I would run the risk of losing if I wasn't working on myself, because you guys wouldn't want to be around me, right? So, and I think it's the same for any other team as well.
Yep. And that's super classic in the online space. There's a lot of, one of our team members, right? Like Steven, like he left the business because the person who he was working for in the past, like just stopped working himself. Like he stopped growing. And as a consequence, like if you as a team member, your capacity expands and your abundance expands and you see this world and you grow and you want to fucking maximize these opportunities, but then the container under which you're working under starts to make you feel like, contained, right? Because you're never supposed to see the container, right? Like the person who you're working for or with or partnering with, like they must be providing you with such an expansive opportunity that you don't even see a container. It's just so big. And as soon as like you work up the ladder and then you start to see that there's a limit to it, then you're like, even if you haven't reached it, as soon as you see the limit, you want to have options, as I notice, right? So that's why like you always have to be 10 steps ahead, like working, building the vision. And that's why when you, for example, if I join Apple as a team member right now, it will take me 15 years until I see any sort of limit, maybe more. Because they're just so deep in their vision and so deep in what they've created. And that's essentially the biggest thing that I think causes people in the same way with their friends, right? Is like you'll be with your friends and then you'll hit a container in a conversation. And like you feel it, right? Conversations about life, marriage, conversations about personal development. Like everybody has a layer, but then you'll feel like a container of like, oh fuck, like they don't go beyond this container conversation. And like, that's not deep enough for me. And then you start feeling like you're in the wrong place. And then you feel guilty because you want to leave, but then you also don't want to be a piece of shit and say, I got to leave. And they're like, why? And it's like, that's the biggest thing. And I think if not even bother addressing it, like if you know you're in the wrong place, just change your environment.
Yeah.
It's the old, you've changed.
Good.
And in the back of your mind, if your response to them is, and you're still the same, then you're probably around the wrong people. I know I picked on GC earlier, but he had I can't remember which program it was in.
Fighting.
But I don't want to fight him on this. He said, he ran into a buddy of his and the guy's like, man, I never see you at the club anymore. And he said, and his response was, yeah, and I never see you in the back. So, money aside, one of the key things is growth is really uncomfortable. But so staying the same. So you've just got to decide.
Staying the same is way worse.
Which discomfort do you want?
To us, yeah, no, but like
This is what people should believe.
no. Should's a shitty word. If people want to stay the same, that's fine, right? There are people who are definitely scared of not changing. Like, bro, if that's your fucking calling, then you're a great example of what not to be, and you needed to be there.
Yeah, staying the same is fine if you don't have desire to grow.
Yeah, but that like, thank you for being that way because we can look at an example of what we don't want. Like they would look at us and say the exact same.
Yeah,
right. Like.
Good question. Kyle, anything to add?
Rick, actually, that kind of, in all of that, sparked probably actually the biggest regret that I had was not realizing earlier on in my business career marketing journey, like what were the non-negotiables every day, and just an absolute commitment to hitting those every single day to get where I wanted to be. Having a clear vision of where that was, because when I was a client of Chris's a few years back, I'd gone from like 2 to 4K, like made a little bit of a jump. Sure, it was cool. But I wanted to get up to like, 20, 30, 40, 50K months. And, I was hitting KPIs maybe 2 or 3 days a week. I had a conversation with Chris where it was like, Kyle, every day you don't do these 4 things. It was really only 4 things I had to commit to every day. But once I started committing to those 4 things every day, the entirety of the business changed. And what Chris said that got me to realize that was, Kyle, every day you don't hit these 4 things, one day of not doing that means another week or more that you're staying at the job that you hate doing, and you're not going to get where you want to go, right? And when I started looking at that, I actually took it a step further and said, cool, Kyle, every time you don't do this for one day, you're actually staying at the job for another month, right? When I started treating it that way, right, that it became a non-negotiable to do it one day, because I would look at the day and be like, cool, there's another month I'm at my job. And if you start thinking consequentially like that, your massive action taking just goes through the roof, right? And the results follow.
And that's always been such a really cool story that
I've shared that so many times with clients.
Of that too,
Yeah, I've
right?
shared that
Like,
with clients a million times.
I think something like my answer in the initial was like not starting my regret thinking first, right? Like earlier on when I was doing things, it's like all exposing your regret is just thinking consequentially about what you want to or not want to happen in time, right?
Yeah.
So like what you did is like you essentially what you're saying is like I would regret not being there a week earlier or a month earlier, if that makes sense. So why would I not do the work today and do the non-negotiables that are required of me and be the person I need to be in order to do that? Because otherwise I lose out what I really want in my life.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's my biggest one for sure.
Let's keep it moving. Happy Dad, you're up.
Let's go.
Happy D?
Question 13 or 12, sorry. How do you decide when to bring on team?
This is an interesting one because I think first you have to identify, what processes make up that position on the team. You have to have them verified to a certain number, a certain KPI really, right? Like, because if you've had success selling a few times one offer, you're probably not ready to start bringing in a sales team, right? Like you have no real process to close at a certain percentage, right? And so first you have to have a process that actually works at a certain percentage. Once you've got the process verified, now you have to actually go and create the systems and documentation of all of those processes that make someone work on that would give someone a playbook to actually come into and have success with, right? For that position in particular, right? So you got to verify the process and have the systems in place, and then also understand what do the habits look like of a successful person in that position, right? Because then you can actually teach someone once they've got the playbooks, what are the habits you need to have instilled to actually see success from all the processes and everything that are in here, right? So I think if you don't have the verified process, you don't have the systems in place, and you don't know what habits or character traits to look for in that team, you're putting yourself and the new team member in a very bad spot, bringing them on. Huge risk for both sides, right? It's not just the worst thing for you. It's the worst thing for them, right? If you're bringing on, like I've been on offers before, right? Commission-based only setting, right? Cool, but how many calls are you booking per week right now? What is the process to do that? Do you have any leads coming in, right? So also knowing what does that person need to have in place to see success. You can have all the playbooks and systems in the world as a setter, but if there's no leads, it's going to be extremely hard for that person to see success. And so they're not going to be able to get a commission that keeps them and their families fed, and you're just going to churn setter after setter.
Can I have a different answer? It depends on for who and at what stage.
Totally.
Right? I mean, and I don't mean which team member. I mean, like, have you run a business before, right? Have you run a business before? Do you have 300 liquid in the account? And do you have pass-throughs in all your shit working? Because if so, you can probably hire a team from day 2.
If you have all of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like
But
if you have liquid and
95% of people are.
Absolutely. But this is like, when's the right time? But like for who?
Yeah.
Right?
Are you fucking a guy with 7 companies starting another one? Or
Correct.
are you like 25 years old
correct,
starting
if
your
you're a
first?
portfolio guy and you've got a bunch of different companies, it's like, cool, it's like I can literally start it and you want to use the team from that one to do this one, right? But if it's like, someone who, and this is their first running shot at this, if that makes sense, it's like, I think that you can hire a team from the second that you realize that you are taking up too much time in non-income producing activities to get rid of those first.
Yeah, that's a pretty good filter.
Right? Like the second that non-income producing activities take up more than your income producing activity time, higher. Right? As long as
The income is there.
as long as any of the income is actually there and you're not just
fucking up
there
the
dick in hand.
like the activity you're doing is actually working.
One of the things that I hear a lot is guys at 3, 4, 5K, I'm going to scale a team. And I'm like, based on what? That's the first question I ask. Based on what? And what's the activity that you're trying to avoid? Because a lot of people they want to avoid a particular function in the business, and usually it's sales.
It's
I'm going to bring in setters, and I'm like, cool. How many appointments are you setting right now? Well, I've got all this other stuff. No. Answer the question, because they'll typically try to deviate. I'm too busy to set. I've got to do this. That's why I need a setter. Cool. You're going to bring someone in, expect them to be able to do something that you can't do. When they can't do it at a level that you've decided is acceptable, they then suck. And it's their fault. One of the lessons that I learned quite a while ago was every success in your business is because of your team, and every failure in your business is because of you. The minute you start to look at things in that context, you will start to do everything you can to set your team up to succeed. There's something Chris has done very well. It's something that most successful businesses I've been around have done very well. Then you bring in people that can take a successful process and scale it to the next level. All right, so I've got a system that works. How do we now amplify that while founder of business can focus on other areas in the business and driving the vision, and then you bring in team to drive that. But if you're looking at bringing in team to set and you can't set, don't do it to yourself, because all you're doing is you're creating a scapegoat. And as Kyle alluded to, you're just going to have this constant fucking churn and be like, there's no good setters. Setters fucking suck. You can't find any.
Yeah, then you build a resentment based off of why.
And in addition to that, like, you could impact the dude's family,
100%.
right? Or whatever the consequence in that scenario.
Absolutely.
So that's,
especially if they're leaving another offer to come work with you. They've got an offer, they're doing okay and making a bit of money. Then they come to you and you've got nothing. You don't have adequate lead flow. You don't have processes. You could fuck that guy up badly.
Hey, in defense to the world on that one, that person should be able to vet their shit too.
Yeah.
The person who's going to take the job should be able to vet that.
100%.
Right? Like,
absolutely.
Like that in defense of the unified.
fucking
No.
Yeah.
Because that person should be able to discern, is this a good opportunity for me at the same time too, right?
Yeah. But usually more often than not, like the onus typically falls on the person hiring.
100%.
Usually. I think I think
93%.
I think that's a lot of
Did you know that 99% of statistics are made up?
that's a good way to put it. I think that's all a lot of good answers. I think if you have differences to what we shared, then the first question I'd probably think about is like, what work?
Put it in the comment section.
Yeah, put in the comment section. What work are you avoiding right now that you know you should be doing? Who did you hire too soon that you think you shouldn't? What are the lessons you've had from hiring? So there's two. I'll let you guys pick. We have, like, from the funny ones, there's like common practice to eliminate, trend that deserves more recognition, overrated trend.
While Carl's trying to find this, if you guys want to pay us money, feel free to do it anytime you want. Click the link below. There should be a place to book a call. You guys can pay us money and we'll help you go and get more people to pay you money. It's a good deal.
What's the pettiest thing you've done in your professional career?
Faris, you can start, because I feel like it's actually going to escalate as it comes down.
Pettiest thing in my professional career, man. Does anybody have answers top of the head? Yeah, start. Because I need a second to think about it.
I hope they get to watch this. So in the fitness industry, I've done hundreds of expos over the course of our career, particularly in the fitness industry.
That's fair.
And typically there's a lot of partying that happens. I had another rep, a competitor in a business. He was just a pain in the ass and infuriated me. So he went to the bathroom and I followed him to the bathroom. Nothing sus, no diddy behavior. And I actually locked him in the cubicle. But they went a step further, and I actually locked the bathroom door as well. And I took the key, and I went to the bar, and I dropped it in the ice in the bar. I still don't know if he's out of there.
Damn, when was this, like, fitness days?
This was years ago, but what set it off is I'd seen him earlier in the day. He attended our booth, carried on like a dick, trying to be the funny guy, and just it got a little bit out of hand. I actually said to him, dude, that's enough. It's time for you to leave. And then he got smart with me. Then I saw him out that night and he got smart with me again. And I was like, let's see how this goes for you. So yeah, he ended up in a nightclub bathroom locked in. For God knows how long. I don't know when, if he got out.
I don't know if I've actually done anything intentionally petty, but I've fucking thought about it. And it goes back to Vegas, back when your snoring was bigger than life itself.
Oh, goodness.
There were so many times that I wanted to grab some fucking water and throw it in your face while you were sleeping.
I'll tell you what's better. Like,
and I think it might have been after, I don't know what we'd done before. I think you ate a whole lot of shitty food or whatever it was. And it was significantly
It was just
worse.
like bad, yeah.
Like
yeah.
it kept me awake. And I was like, this constant.
And it doesn't help that, like, my sleep doesn't help. I have weird ass sleep positions and fucking like my mouth is like.
It's not water, it's chili powder.
Oh no! And another one is like, and you define this as however petty as you want at the same time too, but locking Faris out of the meeting because the meeting was in his room and he was late.
Yeah,
locking me in my room.
No.
When we lived together, the meeting was in your room.
We lived together and the meeting was in your room and you didn't
room you
make
were
it on
sleeping
time
in.
and I kicked you out of the meeting. You couldn't join the meeting because you were late.
That was gold. I was sitting out in the lounge room, I remember it, and I popped my head around. I saw Chris in the meeting, just carries on as though nothing. Faris goes to walk in and he goes, no. and then just keeps going on with the meeting. And Faris is like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, literally.
And then I remember the lecture that came after it. I don't understand how the meeting can be in the room that you're sleeping in and you're not here on time. And I'm sitting there doing these like,
It's because he was snoring somewhere else, I'm sure, man.
bro. I was... Faris is not a morning guy or an afternoon guy either.
If it's not a new client, I'm not interested. Kyle, what's your...
So all our long-standing clients, he just said, yeah, wow. This is going to get interesting.
Oh, no, like if it's not a client thing, like... Kyle, what's up?
Oh man, I can't say that I have one in particular that comes top of mind, but I can't tell you all the petty things I'm thinking of doing to you after after telling me I'm the worst sales guy on the team.
Fuck around.
Get
and
ready,
find out.
yeah. Fuck around and find out. You're gonna see some. Really interesting expectations coming in here in the next few weeks, buddy. I'm telling you right now.
Fuck.
Melbourne can't come soon enough. Carl's like, oh shit.
Pettiest thing Kyle's done, TBD.
Yeah.
Oh man, I honestly, bro, I think for me it's probably gonna be related to like a family member leaving food out and saying like putting a name saying like yeah that's for me, and then me just like being fucking like stoned or some shit and saying fuck it, like I'll take the consequence, I'll take the fight, and I just eat the food. Honestly, there's probably done some other shit probably with like fucking.
You're the guy that's going to see there'll be the the office fridge.
Yeah.
I would say, do not eat.
Everyone will have a key to it except for Faris. Actually,
Now that we know this,
I know
this.
something petty that you've done that wasn't intentionally petty. The garlic powder. When I was prepping for and I was away, and I'll tell the story. I was away. Faris rings me. I'm on my way back home. I'm probably about an hour off. Faris is like, hey, I'm just going to the supermarket. Do you need anything? I'm like, no, man, all good. Faris had used a couple of different ingredients. And because I was dieting for a bodybuilding show, flavor is very limited. So you can't eat a whole lot of different stuff. I get back and all of my flavorings or my main flavorings had been eaten. He's gone to the fucking supermarket and did not replace anything that he'd eaten, but asked me if I needed anything. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? If you're going to use my shit and go to the super, why wouldn't you just replace it?
Oh
So
man,
yeah, that was petty of you.
that was. I didn't even realize at the time that it was done. But I don't think
In reflection, I'd do it again.
Yeah. For the story, I'll do it again for the story.
I'd do it again.
Yeah.
So to be fair, anytime you hear a reference to garlic powder or peanut butter,
That's why
and
peanut
Faris and I
butter
are
too,
involved
yeah.
in the conversation, that's what we're referring to. Piece of shit.
Thank you guys for doing this. This was a bunch
was
of fun.
fun, yeah.
This was a bunch of fun. Hope you guys learned some extra shit about us and got to hear some banter at the same time.
We're all
too.
fucking pieces of shit.
If you, in some way, shape, and form, think that you'd like to learn from the crazy brains that are on this right now, again, book a call below.
We're
We'll
great
show you how to
people.
scale your offer in a way that won't destroy your life.
If you want to be petty, I've got you. Clearly, I'm the petty guy here.
No arguments. Thanks, guys. Speak to you soon. Yeah, and we'll catch you guys on the other side. Peace.